Hey everyone, happy new year. Apologies, I am 7 minutes late. It's been a bit of a busy morning. I can see a lot of you are tuned in already. Hey Vijaya, hey Daniel, hey Adele, hey Priya. Thank you so much for tuning in. How has your new year been so far? How has everything been? We're day 3 of 2021. Have you took steps towards your goals? Have you made any progress towards what you want to achieve? So today we're going to be looking at vision and goal setting. I'm going to be mainly focused on visions today and touch upon a little bit on goal setting, but leave you with some tips and things to take away to really think about in order for you to really start to live a 2021 vision and really start to make a difference and live the life that you want to live, embedding the actions and the habits that you need in order to make that progress. So if you're tuned in, I would like to know, what is your New Year's resolution, if you've called it a resolution? What is your goal? What is your vision? If you've got a vision statement, please share it with us. And let's see if your vision statement matches some of the tips that we're going to be sharing today. Apologies, I've got some allergies. I'm allergic to some plants that are just outside here. So my eyes are I haven't been crying, don't worry. My nose is a bit bunged, but it's just allergies here. So Priya says, hello Paul, wait, but I can't see nor hear him. Can anybody else hear and see me? I'm confused. Is that okay? So Vijaya says, Priya, I just slipped away a bit back now. Fantastic. Happy New Year to you too, Vijaya. Thank you for being here. So Daniel Hidden said, I've started towards my fitness and becoming more active. Fantastic. What are you doing for your fitness? It also says vision is to serve and help others. Okay, that's good. It's good that you've got a vision to help and serve others. Let's explore a little bit more in this session about what that means and how you can start to kind of beef that vision statement out so you can make it a magnet for yourself. Chris says, okay, all good now. Fantastic. That's good. What else are people working on? So we've got Daniel, who's working on his fitness and being active. We've got Adele, who's got a vision to serve and help others. Do we have resolutions? Do we have goals? Or do we have visions? And do we know the difference between the three? So opening today's session, we can start to look at what resolutions are, we can look at what visions are, and we can start to look at what goals are too. So Vijaya says, vision is to learn, grow, and serve myself and others. I love that. That's fantastic, Vijaya. Let's see if we can start to beef that vision statement out too, start to make it something really attractive that's going to pull you towards your success for 2021. Okay, so the first thing I want to mention today is, if you have a resolution, if you're calling yourself that you've got a resolution, whatever it is you're working towards, whether it's I'm trying to get more active, I'm going to quit smoking, I'm going to go back to the gym, I'm going to write a book, whatever you've got, if it's just a resolution, I want you to let it go and stop calling it a resolution. So all we are doing when we've got a resolution is making a firm decision to do or not to do something. And this is why when we set so many resolutions, it will last for maybe a couple of days, a week, or maximum a month, and then we fall back into those old habits and we stop going to the gym, or we start smoking again, or whatever it is, we stop writing that book, we put it back on the shelf, or we step away. So if you're calling what you have or what you're aiming to achieve this year a resolution, and it's very, very minimum, I want you to let go of this concept of resolution, because resolutions don't work. All you're doing is you're telling yourself, you're tricking your mind that you're going to make a firm decision to do or not to do something. So first step for today is to step out of that mode of setting resolutions. What we want to do is set goals and a vision. And we're going to start off by looking at a vision, because the vision is the most important thing that we can have. And now I want to give you a heads up. It's not easy to get a clear, defined vision statement. It takes time and work. But when you get that right, it is so powerful. And we'll talk about this a little bit in a few moments. I'm just going to go back to the comments. So we've got, Priya says, investing in my personal development, health, and serving. That's beautiful. You're investing in two areas of your life. It's amazing. Daniel says, I bought a smartwatch to be my accountability partner and remind me when I'm on track or not. Also following fitness videos. That's fantastic. It's good that you've got that accountability function. We're going to talk about accountability too in this session. The other important thing that goes alongside resolutions, visions, and goals is also intentions, but I'm not going to touch upon intentions today. I'm going to leave that for Adele next week when she steps live and shares about the importance of having intentions behind our visions and behind our goals. So Adele Jacobs says, a goal is to finish Coaching Minds course and then build new goals, but focus is more on intentions. It's fantastic. It's working in flow. We just talked about intentions. I don't do goals New Year, but through the year. That's fantastic. It's good that you set your intentions at the start, and then you pick up your goals as you go through. So Paula Adams says, vision statement, intentions, habits. It's wonderful to see you, Paula. Thank you so much for tuning in. But yeah, intentions and habits, they're also so important. What we can do is we can start to get lost. So if we don't have a vision, and like the same with resolutions, if we just start to have goals but no vision behind the goal, if we start to set intentions but don't have goals for those intentions to move forward with, or have that vision statement that pulls us, then we're going to struggle to make what we're trying to achieve seamless and easy. So what I mentioned earlier on is creating an effective vision statement is not easy. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes planning. And then from that, you can get some good strategy towards your goals and start to prioritize what it is that you want to achieve that's going to help you start to live that vision. But once you get an effective vision statement that you believe in, that you feel, that really pulls you, then everything that you work towards when you set these goals, you'll see and find that the goals naturally set themselves and you achieve them more because you're being pulled from your vision. So when we have an effective vision statement, we don't need that push because the vision statement acts as a magnet and it pulls us towards what it is we want to achieve. So today we're going to look at how we can start to really draft that effective vision statement that's going to pull us so we don't need to constantly push ourselves towards what it is we want to achieve in 2021. So Vijaya shared her personal goals. So she says you can eat healthy, drink at least 3 liters of water every day, increase fruit intake, walk at least 10,000 steps every day, and then on the professional, complete my professional targets. That's absolutely wonderful that you've got those goals behind that. So it was Simon Sinek. I'm going to be talking a bit about Simon Sinek today because I think he's absolutely fantastic when you start to look at visions, when you start to look at, we'll talk about the concept of why a little bit later on, but it was Simon Sinek that said that all greatness starts with a vision. So all greatness starts with a vision. That's our personal greatness. So what we want to achieve and how we're going to achieve it all starts with having a vision. So Del said earlier on that she had a vision to help and serve others. Vijaya's vision was something similar, to learn and grow with herself and help others too. Does anybody else have a vision, or what they would call a vision statement? Let me know if anybody else has a vision statement. So what we want to do today, why I've called it a bit of a practical exercise, is because we want to start to get the skeleton of our vision statement. We want to start to get the things we need to think about to draft an effective vision statement. And then I want you to go away after this session and start to really reflect and think on it and start to perfect that vision statement to where you feel it. When you see and you read that words, it feels like you, and it reminds you of what you're doing and why you're doing it. And then we can look to print that off, stick it on a wall somewhere, put it in a poster, put it as your phone screensaver, just somewhere to remind you daily. So Daniel Hindmark says, I need to create a vision statement. Okay. Paul Adams says to complete my book and get it published. That's fantastic. That's an amazing goal. And Paula, you'll probably resonate with the short tip that I'm going to share first of all, and you felt the power when we did that in a coaching session with that visualization. So the first tip is to do a visualization exercise on what you want your life to look like. So in this visualization exercise, I don't call it a meditation, because if we're visualizing in a meditation, then we're thinking about the future and we're not actually meditating, because meditating is all about being in the present moment. So it's kind of like a meditation in terms of the exercise, But what you need to do is think about what you want your life to look like, what your life looks like when you've achieved everything you want to achieve, and you're living that. So, for example, Paula, I hope you don't mind me sharing, but if how do you look and think about when we did in that exercise, having that book published? What does your life look like having a published book? Daniel, what does your life look like when you've achieved that fitness, when you're feeling fit, healthy, and you're active? What does that look like? Adele, Vijaya, what does your life look like? How do you visualize your life when you're serving and giving to others and you're learning and you're growing? So what we're doing with a vision, so a vision isn't a destination. Our goals, when we set our goals, they're destinations. They're milestones on starting to live and feel our vision. Our vision acts as our compass. And our compass is our vision keeps us in that direction that we want to head and we need to head. So imagine it as being our North Star or a compass, and it's helping us to achieve what we want to achieve, and we're keeping it in the back of our mind. So the first thing you need to do is take out 5 minutes. So I wouldn't do that today, but it's something you can take away from today's session, and just take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, however long you need, just in a quiet place. Get some cup of tea, get a coffee, be out in nature, just somewhere where you can be alone, and set up the same as you would a meditation, but it's not a meditation exercise, it's a visualization exercise. And I just want you to start to think about what it is you want your life to look like. If you're living your ideal life, what does that look like? What time, where are you? Who are you with? What do you have around you? What does your day look like when you get up in the morning? So start to really go deep in what you want. Start to imagine what you want that life to look like. So Daniel says it feels like I'm less fatigued and have more energy to serve. That's fantastic. That's good. And that's what drives you. You start to get more into that magnet, that pull, rather than just telling yourself that you're going to get active and fit. You have that drive to want to be less fatigued and have more energy to serve. So it's something bigger than just saying I'm going back to the gym or I'm going to be active. Jaya says it looks more fulfilling as I'm touching and impacting more lives in a positive manner. I'm spreading positive energy to those who give me the permission to do so. That's absolutely beautifully written, Vijaya. Thank you for sharing that. So write these down, capture this down in a journal or a piece of paper, because all these words that come out when you do this visualization exercise, part of them are going to form your powerful vision statement. So Paula says, I feel deeply accomplished knowing that when I sign my first copy, all my life's work has been complete. That's absolutely amazing, Paula. That's fantastic. And we're gonna work and help each other this year so we can all achieve our goals. We're all here to act as each other's accountability partners. So I'm going to keep this in mind. I'm going to come back to this live later on in the year and see how you're progressing with what it is you're trying to achieve this year. But capture these down, because you might want to capture the parts of this into your vision statement. But I'd recommend you take at least 5 minutes, and up to 40 minutes, just taking that time by yourself on your own to reflect really what you want your life to look and feel like, with what you want to achieve in mind. Del Jacob says, feel fulfilled, happy, have complete inner peace. I have my close circle of support, celebrating not just with me, but those who I inspired and guided. That's absolutely wonderful, Adele. Please capture that down and get ready to write that as part of your vision statement. Vijaya says, what's your vision statement, Paul? So my vision statement is filtered into Coaching Minds. So that's one thing I want to share with you as well. Is we drafted Coaching Minds vision together, and for me, I live by Coaching Minds vision, which is to really empower others to dig deep within their inner core, light that passion that they have within them. So together we can all light a world filled with love and kindness. And that image of just having lights across the world and everyone being happy and kind is what keeps me driven and what keeps me moving. So we drafted that as a vision statement together, and I live by that. I have personal goals and visions behind what I want my life to feel like and what I want that to look like. Um, but it's all dedicated to serving. So for me, I'm all about serving, and the day-to-day basis is getting up and just making sure I can make a difference to as many people as possible. But I live by the Coaching Minds vision of really wanting to help people find that passion within, empower them to find that passion, that light that they have within them, so they can really ignite that and start to light up the world with love and kindness. And it's okay for people to, so we've got a vision together. So you can have your personal vision that filters into that too. So I know Adele, I know you live by Coaching Minds vision. Daniel, you live by Coaching Minds vision too. And you have your own personal vision that's in there. You know, when you're looking at the visualization exercise and your personal vision, you need to consider your lifestyle too. You know, being fit and healthy is going to help. Like Daniel said, it's going to make you feel less fatigued and give you more energy to make a difference to others. So it's good to have those kind of mini visions, I would call them, for each of the areas of your life that filter and factor into your higher vision. Because if you're fit and unhealthy and you have a vision to really serve and make a difference to others, if you haven't got the energy, you're not going to be able to do that. So it's important. And that's why you have that big vision statement and you have it bigger than what you're trying to achieve, because it's going to pull you. You're not just being active. So using Daniel's example, you're not going to just become active and more fit for yourself. You're doing it for something bigger than yourself. And that's another tip. It's the next tip I want to share is when you draft your vision, you want to make your vision bigger than yourself. It needs to pull you, it needs to act as your magnet and pull you towards what it is you're trying to achieve. So all this stuff that Adele, Vijaya, Paula, what you've written, Daniel, those feelings of what it feels like to be living that vision, you need to write it down, because you need to start to feel it now, start to make it active. And another tip I like to give as well is when whatever it is you're trying to achieve, put yourself in the present moment. So Paula, for example, you're looking to write a book, okay? I want you to start to call yourself an author. Okay. Okay, you haven't published a book yet, but you're in the process of writing a book. And when you start to call yourself an author, you step into that shoes of an author, and it helps give that energy and that present and active feel for you to continue to start to write that book. And if you feel uncomfortable calling yourself an author, then call yourself an aspiring author or an upcoming author or something like that. Just have that name author attached to you and put that in to your vision statement. You know, whatever the title of your book is, if anyone's writing a book alongside Paula, have the title of your book alongside, you know, author of this in your vision statement, author of that in your vision statement. You need to start to live and feel what it is you're trying to achieve. You know, Daniel, you're stepping up and being a leader. Start to call yourself a leader. You are leading people. You are leading things. You need to feel that and really live that. And the same with you, Adele. And everybody here is really leading. So whatever it is you're trying to achieve, call yourself that now, because that puts you in that future presence. It gives you that energy and that motivation. So start with a visualization exercise, taking out 5 to 40 minutes to really think about what that life feels like, that life that you want to live that doesn't have any barriers, that doesn't have any blocks or limitations. You have anything and everything you need right now. What does that look like for you? Where are you? Who are you with? What do you see? What do you hear? And what do you feel? Paul Adams says, I am an inspiration. You are an inspiration. I am an author. You are an author. And the more we tell ourselves this, the more we put it into a vision statement, the more it starts to become real, the more we start to live it. So the third tip, so again, the other tip there, so it's kind of the fourth one because I threw in one I didn't prepare for, which was the call yourself an author, call yourself a aspiring coach, a coach, whatever it is, call yourself a leader, whatever it is you're trying to achieve. And if you think about this logically in a role, so if you apply for a role in a job, okay, you might have never done that job before, but from day one, you get that title. you get sorry Daniel, I got sidetracked by that. I'm a potato. That's fantastic. So if anybody who's not tuned in, we have a little bit of a joke about if we ever make a little bit of a mistake or I say something incorrect on a live, we have a joke that you have to call yourself a potato. So it's just a little bit of inside Coaching Minds banter. So if you ever hear myself call myself a potato, it's because I've made made an error. So if you think about, going back to what I was saying there, if you think about when you get a new job in the corporate world or wherever it is you're working, you might not have any experience in that. You might have studied to get there. You might have a little bit of experience. It might be a new promotion. So it's a lot of new responsibilities. It's a new title, but you get that title from day one. They don't just put you in that role and then, you've got to work your way to obtain that role. You get that role of, so for example, if you're a lawyer and you've gone into law, you've got your first job as a lawyer, you call yourself a lawyer from day one. It's not okay, we'll call you a lawyer after you've got 6 months to achieve this. You get that from day one. So we need to do that in the same way with our visions and what we want to achieve. If we want to be an author, if we're setting ourselves out to write a book, we need to call ourselves an author. If we are writing poems, we need to call ourselves a poet. So we need to call ourselves what it is we want to achieve so we can start to feel and really live that vision. It factors in and helps with the energy. So the fourth tip is, so you can go deep into this one. So this is when I said it takes time to really get an effective vision statement, and there's a lot to think about. So we've got the visualization exercise to think about. We've got to think about how we make that vision bigger than ourselves. We need to also look at how we incorporate our why into that statement. And it's Simon Sinek. I said I was going to talk about him a bit today. That comes up with he's got the book called Start With Why, and the concept of the golden circle. So in the golden circle, everything starts with why, we then move out to the how, and then we look at the what. So the why is at the inner core of Simon Sinek's golden circle. If you're interested in this, you want to learn more about how you can find your why and look at your why, he's got an amazing book called Start With Why, and that's written by Simon Sinek. If you've read it, let me know what you got from that, what you felt from that. But it's all about this concept of the golden circle and reminding ourselves that people don't buy what we do, they buy why we do it. So Paul Adams says, come back, I lost connection. What was the last thing you heard, Paula? And I'll start to recap on what I said there. Vijay says, I like that example, Paul, a good one. The designation or call yourself what you set out to do. And it works, it really works. Because then it allows you to evolve into that role. And that's what we do. Naturally, we evolve into that role. Vijay says, great book, Start With Why. It's an absolutely fantastic book, and I would recommend anybody, if you've not read it, take the time to read it. It's absolutely fantastic, but only read it right now in detail if it's an area that you really want to find out what your why is. If you're really passionate, if you've got a vision statement that's effective already and you've done that, that's fantastic. But it's great to dive deep into, to start to learn more about that golden circle, how why is at the center of what we do and how we do it. It factors into how we do it. Can you say that book again, please? So Shannon, it's I'm going to write it in the comments box. Start With Why, and it's by Simon Sinek. So it's the concept of the golden circle, and it's all we're going to remember for today is that people don't buy what we do, they buy why we do it. And it's important for us to know our why and always come back to our why, because it's what keeps us motivated. It gives that inspirational energy and remind ourselves. So on the tough days, what I really like the why statement for and incorporating that into your vision is because on the tough days when your negative mind kicks in or lots of stuff are going on and you're feeling like you want to give up or you're starting to get those negative feelings, you remind yourself of your why and why you're doing what you're setting out to do. And it brings back that positive energy. It really acts as a good magnet to bring back the positive energy in terms of making that progress towards your goal. Because you are going to have tough days. Every vision that you have is going to bring tough days, and you're going to feel that there's too much on. You're going to feel a little bit stressed, maybe. You're going to feel like you're not going to achieve what you want to achieve. But this is why we need to draft a powerful vision statement that incorporates our why, and it's the why element of that vision statement that is going to help us on those difficult days. We just need to set in our mind when we've got that vision drafted that we need to remind ourselves of a vision whenever we start to think negatively. I'm not doing this. And this comes back to when you're doing something bigger than yourself, it's easier to win that fight with your ego. So it's your ego that's telling you you're not good enough. It's your ego that's telling you you've got too much, you can't do this. And you start to look at imposter syndrome as well. It's your ego that's telling you all this, and having that effective why statement will help you win that battle against your ego by telling you that you're doing this for more than just yourself. You're doing it for other people, for a wider vision, for a wider purpose, and you're looking to serve. And that will really help you pull that energy up on those difficult days. So that is tip 4. So I hope people are taking notes if you need any areas of this. A bit of practical exercise, but it takes a lot of work and time. We're not going to draft an effective vision statement today. I just want you to understand these different areas of a vision statement we need to think about, and then how we can pull that together into one on our own time when we start to reflect on these exercises. If we really want to make a serious difference, we need to put the work into our vision, what we want to achieve, rather than just set resolutions. It takes 2 seconds to set a resolution or a goal, but we're going to give up when we're working towards that. So tip 5 is, in your vision statement, you need to incorporate your mission. So you can look at, I'm not going to touch upon mission statements today, but we can look to draft mission statements as well and start to pull. So you've got a why statement, you've got a mission statement, you've got a vision statement, and your vision statement kind of pulls that all together. So your mission statement is, what is your mission behind what it is you want to do? And when we do this, this is the part that I like to see of the vision statement that makes it bigger than ourselves. So we can create a mission impossible. So this is bringing in that concept of what we're going to do for the wider world. What is it we're going to do to make a difference, not just for our own life, but the mission statement is our purpose of what we're going to do and achieve to the wider world. And the reason why, I know when you set goals, you think about SMART goals and how we start to look at measurable and specific goals and how we can get that, and not thinking too big. Sometimes we can think too big. And I think what the problem is in life at the moment is not that people aim too high and miss. I feel like there's a lot of people out there that aim too low and hit. And we need to start to really aim high. So with this, incorporating our mission, we need to create what I like to call a mission impossible and start to think of something. So, impact 1 billion lives, impact 5 million people across the world, light up the whole world with love and kindness. That is the part of the vision statement. That's the mission for me, is helping them get into that, ignite that inner core, but also light up the world. The mission is to light up the world with love and kindness. So it needs to be, this is the part that's bigger than you. And it was Sadhguru that said we should always aim for blissful failure rather than constipated success. So always aim for blissful failure than constipated success. So it's going back to that concept. If we aim high and we miss, it's better than aiming low and hitting. So many of us set too many goals that are just not big enough for us. We need to be bigger, think bigger, and that causes us, having that wider vision, that mission impossible, it sparks our creativity and start to look at how we can do things differently. It gives us that challenge. We already have that energy from our why. So this is why I think a mission statement alone can be a bit difficult, because if we just write a mission statement, we can look at it and think, oh wow, that's too hard to achieve. But when we incorporate our why statement together and we create an effective vision, that energy acts as a magnet. So for example, if you just want to aim and impact 100 people, you can do that, you can achieve that. But that's what Sadhguru would call constipated success. But you aim for 1 million people, you might not achieve that in your lifetime, but you could achieve 900,000. And 900,000 is better than that 100 that you originally set off to achieve. So always aim for blissful failure rather than constipated success. Tip 6 is making your vision statement public. So when you've got your vision and you're happy with it, make it public. Post it on the bio of your Facebook, put it on your Instagram, make a post, publish it publicly. And the reason why we make it public is because that helps us become more accountable. We are more likely to become accountable for our visions, our goals, if we have included other people in that vision. So by making it public, we force ourselves or we pull ourselves to be accountable to that goal. Because we've not just told ourselves we're looking to achieve that, we've told everybody else, the wider world, everyone on social media, that this is our vision and this is what I'm trying to achieve. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, you could just publish in a Facebook group, so you could just publish it in Wisdom Creators, you can publish it in the Coaching Minds community. So what I want to ask everybody who's tuned in and watching this is, once you've got your effective vision statement, I would like everyone to at least just publish it into the Coaching Minds community so we can look at everyone's visions. And then I want to look at later on in the year how we're making progress towards that. Paul says, the one great habit I have is to remember my why. That's absolutely fantastic. And it's good that you have that. It really is, because it's the why that really helps us. Paula says, what is my mission? To leave footprints behind. I love that. I love what you posted yesterday on my post as well. Thank you for that. That was really beautiful, about the importance of leaving footprints on people's mind and hearts. And, it can get quite deep when we say that, but people don't have to pass away for us to leave footprints on their mind and their hearts. We can't stay connected to millions of people. We make a difference to them in their life through one act of kindness, and we leave that footprint in that footprint on their mind and the heart when they go off on their own business. So this is where kindness really comes into everything to help us leave those footprints. Just those small acts can really make a difference. Paul Adam says, making my vision public. That's absolutely fantastic. Paul says, I want to do a TED Talk. Get that written down as well. That's fantastic. I'd love to see you do one. We're here to help you. So anything you need, we will help and support you on that TED Talk. So make your vision statement public. Or alternatively, if you don't feel comfortable, if you're not at that level of confidence of sharing your vision statement and making it public, then find some kind of other accountability tool. So share it with a small group of people that you trust in a messenger group or a WhatsApp group. Just share it with somebody that's going to help you be accountable. The Joe says, is it important to make the vision statement public? I have often found myself stepping back from doing this. It's good that you just asked that question. So for me, I found it the most effective accountability tool. If I'm telling everybody that I'm going to achieve this, then when I feel like I want to give up, or I feel like I don't have enough, I'm not doing this for me, I've told everyone I need to do it. So it plays a trick on your ego. And it really helps you, it helps you be more accountable to yourself. But it's not necessarily, you don't have to do that. As long as you're sharing it and you have some kind of really effective accountability tool that's going to help you hold yourself accountable to follow up with those actions that you need and start to build those habits that you need to achieve that vision, then that's okay. But find what works for you. I just found, for me personally, having a public vision, everyone's looking at what I'm doing, everybody sees the vision, and I need to step up into that vision. I need to live it. So it really helps me be accountable. But if that doesn't work for you, if that's too scary, too much, I can understand. It's a big step. Just share it small in a private WhatsApp group or messenger group with a group of people, and just let them know what your statement is. Jai says, I feel it should be my own statement for how to live it instead of making it public. Okay, if you want to keep that private, then you keep that private. But as long as you've got that accountability tool that's going to help you live it, then live it. So I think I'll change that tip a little bit. So making it public is fantastic, but I think the overall tip is find an effective accountability tool that's going to help you stick to doing those actions. Jai says, I found my own strong vision and have lived by it without sharing with anyone. That's fantastic. So it'd be good to get a tip from you, Vijay. What is it that you use to hold yourself accountable to that vision? What drives you and makes you continuously progress towards that and follow up with actions? See what Vijay says. If anybody else has any accountability tools that they use, let me know. So Daniel mentioned earlier on that he's got a fitness watch to help him with his accountability. Yeah, just thanks for understanding it. I live by it every day, one step at a time. It's like a non-negotiable. No problem. That's fantastic. And how do you make something non-negotiable? Sorry, I'm asking you two questions here. It's just an interesting conversation. So, any other accountability tools that people use? So, one effective one is get accountability partner. It's probably the most obvious and easy, but you need to. And I published something last year on this about the importance of having an effective, not a written contract, not anything like that, but effectively contracting with your accountability partner to make sure that they're suitable for you. Because what I've found in personal development, when we're setting out to achieve goals or goal setting and we get an accountability partner, we kind of just connect with a friend or somebody that's interested in the same thing that we're trying to do. So, for example, if you want to go to the gym and your friend wants to go to the gym, then he'll become accountability partner. You go to the gym together. But for me, I found that, and I'm not going to go into the contracting of accountability partners, but I find that as long as you find someone that's committed to your change, into your difference, it doesn't matter if they do want to do the same interests or have the same goal. I think it actually, accountability partners work more effectively when you've got different goals and different outcomes. So, for example, Paula and Daniel would be great accountability partners because they're not looking to achieve the same things, but they share that same passion and energy. So, Paula can help Daniel be accountable with his fitness, and Daniel can help Paula be accountable with writing her book. It's two different things, but they have that energy and that want to really make a difference. So it's important that you have that effective contract in place with your accountability partner. And I'm not talking about written contract. It's just understanding each other on what each other wants to achieve and how they can help you achieve that. How many times are they going to check up on you a week? Are you going to have a call? When are you going to have that call? And sticking to those calls. I'm just going to go back to this. So, Adele Jacobs, people close to me to hold me accountable. That's fantastic. So having that accountability group or just putting that out there. Jess says, I don't sleep or call it a day without doing it. It is more of a self-talk. I'm sort of consistent in doing what truly matters to me. I don't give up. Now that's fantastic. You've got that drive and that passion for Jai. And it's almost like you've spent some time to really build it into habit to have that self-talk, which is fantastic. Shannon says, will this be up for a while? I had messages and interruptions coming in. Yeah, so this will be, the replay will be in the coaching community, and you can watch this at any time. So don't worry, Shannon, that's fantastic. Paula says, if anyone wants me to be accountability partner, I think I need a few for different reasons. And that's a really good point, Paul. I think when you look at accountability, it's definitely important to have different partners for different things. Definitely think that's effective. So whether you want to publish it publicly, if that's how you hold accountability, I think the important point from that tip, and thank you Vijaya for sharing that, is just having that accountability tool, that accountability function that's going to help you constantly work towards your goals. And we're all different, so we all have those different tools. And kind of moving on to the seventh tip, the seventh and final tip when it comes to visions. It's something that comes from an old Japanese proverb. So it says, vision without action is a daydream, and action without vision is a nightmare. So the seventh tip is bringing in action and starting to develop an action plan. So lots of people saying they're happy to be accountability partners. That's fantastic. Jaya says, yes, you're correct, Paul. It has taken me over a decade to work on my self-talk as my accountability partner. And it's fantastic that you've done that and you've built in that habit so you can hold yourself accountable to what it is you want to achieve. That's fantastic. Lots of stuff coming through. So what I'll do is, everyone seems to be want to offer accountability partners. I'll dig out what I posted a year or two ago in terms of the things to think about when you're finding a suitable accountability partner, and I'll publish that into the Coaching Minds community after this live. I'll try and dig it out because I think it's really important for you to think about that. And it kind of starts as that first discussion that you have, just asking those questions and making sure you're clear on what you want. Because I really find I've seen it so many times that people become accountability partners because they like the idea, and then it'll last a week or 2 weeks or a few months, and then it'll just fizzle out. So you need to really make it an effective partnership together, and both need to be able to strive and help the other achieve the goals. Because sometimes it can go a little bit one-sided too. So I'll dig that out and I'll share that with you. But going to do the Japanese proverb is you need to start to look at actions behind your vision statement. So you need to start to think about, and you can incorporate one or two actions in that, and look at how you make it active. And these actions are just verbs, so it could just be one word from that. So when you start to draft up a bit of an action plan, you can start to pick maybe the verb or the word that you find inspiring. So inspiring could be a word. For example, when I use the vision, I shared the Coaching Minds vision. That's empowering. So that's the active word there that makes it an active statement. But the important thing is when you have that vision, you need to start to develop some actions and a bit of an action plan behind that. Because as that Japanese proverb said, vision without action is just a daydream, and action without vision is a nightmare. So we need to start to work towards that vision. And the more action we put in, the more we feel like we're living it. Jai says, start your action plan with verbs. This has really helped me. It's really effective. Vijaya, thank you for sharing that. Paul Ram says, I have an idea knowing each person I do what I have in mind. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So start to develop an action plan. Start to think of verbs and what you're going to be doing towards helping other people, as Vijaya has mentioned there. And then from there, you can start to develop what it is you need to do to start to live that vision. And then when you've got that, so those are the areas you need to think about. So the important thing is start with that visualization exercise, start to feel what it looks like, calling yourself as if you're living that moment right now. Look at making that vision statement bigger than yourself. So really starting to put in, making it large, making it huge, that impact you're going to make to the wider world, to wider society. And when you're looking at this, one thing I forgot to mention earlier on is start to look at the problems you see in the world and how you can fix them or how you would like to fix them. So think about what problem in the world right now really gets you passionate, because passion doesn't always have to be a happy feeling. You can get really passionate and disheartened by something that's going on in the world. So for example, world hunger, that could be your passion. I'm really passionate about making people, I don't like that there's people in the world starving right now, and I'm driven to how do I start to help people get fed. What is it that really drives you? So, for example, one thing that drives me with passion at the moment is that the coaching industry isn't regulated. And I get really passionate about that because I really believe that the coaching industry should be regulated. So that's one of the passions that drives me. So when you're looking at making that mission impossible and something bigger than yourself, start to think about the issues that you find in society that are really driving you right now. And if you think back, one of the things that really drives Coaching Minds, and I'm sure everybody will agree, to be honest, but especially when Adele, Prashant, I know Prashant's not tuned in, Daniel, Priya, and Ishpreet as well, who's not tuned in, but I'm sure you agree that one of the things that drove us and the reason why Coaching Minds exists is because of a passion to help people with what was going on in the world right now. So one of the questions I always ask myself, and maybe it would have came at a later date, is would Coaching Minds exist if it wasn't for the pandemic? Because it was that passion that we all had to really help people who were suffering during the times of the pandemic that helped us create the vision behind Coaching Minds and develop where we are today. So you need to look at what it is in society that really grabs you, that really pulls you towards wanting to make that difference, that huge thing, and look at how you can start to take steps to do that. So that's looking at your mission impossible. Pashani is here. Oh, she slipped in. Hey, Pashani. But I'm sure you'd agree with that. That it was that drive, that wanting to help people in those tough times that really pulled us through that. Adele says, I agree. Shannon says, by the way, I love you all and I'm here for you. And we're here for you too, Shannon. That's so beautiful to write. Thank you so much. And this is what I love about us all. We're here as a family and we're here to support and help each other through whatever it is we're going through. But I really want us to make 2021 one hell of a year that's going to really, all of us, to live what we want to live, to achieve what we want to achieve and make a huge difference and an impact together. The magnet that's pulling us together is our values of service, making a difference, helping others, kindness, amongst other values that we have, but they're the ones that are pulling us together to really make a difference. So Paula says, what drives me is making sexual abuse not a shameful conversation. And that's a really good one to share, Paula, because that's deep. It's a deep topic, and that pulls you to really make a difference. So it's good that it gives you that passion to want to change that. Bottom says not keeping secrets, being open and honest about it. Yep. Fantastic. A few hellos to Prashani there. Prashani says, yes, absolutely love this family who are caring and supportive no matter what is going on. Yeah, and we're here to help each other. We really are. We want to make a difference and we want to make an impact to the world. Because, 2021, I know a lot of people were thinking, we go to sleep on the New Year's Eve of 2020, and when we wake up in 2021, the pandemic's just going to disappear, and it's a whole new. It's not going to be an easy year. 2021 is going to be a difficult year, but if we set, which Adele will talk about next week, if we set our intentions right and we have a vision statement, because the key with a vision statement too is it's adaptable. We can change, we can maneuver around it. Sometimes when we just set goals, we're fixed in that goal and we can't see how we can start to navigate around the obstacles that come our way. But when we have a vision, it's much more easier to be adaptable to what it is we're trying to achieve. Because you're going to get a block. When you set a goal, you're trying to achieve something, you're going to hit a block. And you're going to have to think differently to overcome that obstacle. Whether you go around it, over it, through it, you need to find a different way to get past that obstacle. But when we've only got that goal, we can't see past it. So having that vision, that drive to want to serve, okay, I've hit this obstacle, maybe I can't get past it. How do I go around that and start to look at a different goal that's going to help me live that vision? You can constantly create new goals with an effective vision statement. Paula says, we are stitching our huge quilt together. I can see it in my mind and my dreams. I love that analogy, Paula. That's fantastic. We're stitching a quilt together. I love that. Shannon's saying, how can I help homelessness again? And that's so important. That's so important. That's one thing that really drives me. And I have I have a goal in my mind, something I want to achieve, but there's so much at the minute that I want to achieve. But I would love to be able to help work with homeless shelters so we can offer coaching to the homeless. How do we coach them back into society from the streets? It's something I want to look at later down the line, and that filters into part of that vision statement. It's another goal that filters into that vision statement of how we make. So part of our mission at Coaching Minds is to make coaching accessible and affordable to everybody. So how do we start to get into those areas of homelessness, work with homeless shelters? But so we've got loads of ideas at Coaching Minds and where coaching is needed and how we can get there. But first of all, we really need to create a flock. And I call a flock, I don't know if that's the right word. This is why one of the reasons why I've got the hummingbird symbol is we want to create a flock of hummingbirds that are coaches. So we've got that capacity to start to get in these areas of homelessness and people who are suffering from. So, for example, one of the areas we want to go to as well, I'm sharing a lot about Coaching Minds here, but you've shared a lot with me today too. But if you, in the UK particularly, and I'm sure it's the same in other areas, if you want help with medical help, especially with mental health, it's very expensive. Or if it's not expensive, there's a huge long waiting list. So there's people there that need to be coached, that need it, that need that support and that help. And what we want to do here at Coaching Minds is create those group of people, those impactful, those authentic coaches that we're going to call hummingbirds, and we're going to send them out to really help make a difference in all these areas where coaching is needed. Paul Adams says helps with mental health also. It really does. And I think that's the support that people on the street. So thank you for bringing this up, Shannon. We're going a little bit off piece here, but I think it's a good conversation. I don't think they get that support with their mental health. They can get that support financially. They can get a place to stay. And one of the things in the UK, when I was looking into this, it's very difficult. It's difficult for them to get a property or to get back into rent because they don't have a bank account. And there's a kind of a catch-22 with how they can't get a bank account without having an address. So there's a gap there in the UK. I don't know how it is in other countries, but there's problems and stuff that we can start to look at and coach and work with other organizations. And this is what we want to do, is a lot of collaboration, a lot of partnerships in the future as well with Coaching Minds, and how we can collaborate with these and how we can bring coaching in along with the skills and tools that other companies have to help with these problems. So Vijaya says, what drives me is every child has the right to be educated. Another one that's a huge passion of mine too. I really think, the world right now, the technology that we have, nobody should go without education, food, or health. You know, it was Mahatma Gandhi that said there's enough in the world for everybody's. I do this. Sorry, I do this all the time. When I start, when I think of a quote off the top of my head, I have it in my mind, and when I go to say it, I always mess it up. But it was there's enough in the world to help me out. If anybody knows this, the Mahatma Gandhi quote I always keep in mind when it comes to education, food. But it finishes with, but not enough to feed everyone's greed. There's enough in the world for everybody's food, but not enough for everyone's greed. It's something like that, Mahatma Gandhi's quote. But that's one thing I always keep in mind when I look at education and health and hunger as well. But no, it's really good that you have that passion, Vijaya. I really, really love that. Bashani says something I used to do was coach prisoners here in GHB with a group of coaches here. Now that's fantastic, and that's another area where we can coach. So how do we start to really build this flock of coaches, lots of coaches behind us and coaching minds, so we can start to get contracts and start to work in these areas where coaching is really needed. Something we need to think about. Paul says sometimes it's just little key tips to know someone cares and just needs a simple guidance. Exactly, Paula. Exactly. It all just comes down to kindness and love at the core. Prashani says we used to do 12-week groups and individual coaching to prisoners, and one prisoner managed to change his life around after serving his time. Now that's fantastic, Prashani. That's amazing. I bet you that was really rewarding as well. It's another area. It's because coaching is so powerful and so effective. I think the only limitation on coaching, what makes it difficult, is for coaching to be impactful, it needs to be wanted. People need to want to make a quote. Thank you, Vijaya. Thank you. Honestly, when I've got a quote in the back of my mind, I have it there and I try to get it out, and I always, Prashani Adele, I'm sure you've been watching me for some time now. I always build up this energy to do a really good quote, and then it's a bit of a disappointment. But thank you for that. So Vijaya has correctly got the quote there of Mahatma Gandhi, which is the world is enough for everyone's need, but not enough for everyone's greed. Paul Adams, simple kindness, love, and attention. Hey, Karen, thank you so much for being here. It's wonderful to see you tune in. Paul says people need to feel important and that they matter. They really do. You make someone feel valued, and it changes their life. Prashani says, "Love, it happens. It happens a lot. When you got a lot going on in your mind and you're in the flow, you can just hit a block. It's funny though. It's all learning and growth. I'll not forget it in the future now as well. So that's what's great about it. No need to apologize, Karen, in your own time. Thank you so much for just being here. Appreciate you. So just a quick recap. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but we looked at how we need to forget resolutions and start to really look at draft an effective vision statement that brings in our why and our mission, and how we make it bigger than what it is, the bigger than ourselves, and how we start to look at accountability and how we can start to get accountability tools, and then also starting to look at actions. And when we get that, so I'm not going to go into much on goal setting today, but I think it's something we should cover. So I might do that. I've got a live later on in the month towards the end. Maybe we can bring that in. So we're going to go live with Priya and Daniel later on in the month too. So maybe we can bring goal setting into that session. Or I can change the live that I've got at the end, which is all about how you build a strategy towards your plan, towards your goal. I really think building a strategy is really important, but I'm not going to go into detail today. Bashani says, so many people just want to feel valued and heard and seen. They do. And I think that's what we really do. What really is really powerful with us here at Coaching Minds is we make people feel valued. We don't judge people. They can be themselves. They can express themselves. And we're there to help them achieve to whatever they want to achieve or get to wherever they want. So many of us are told so many negative things that it starts to become ingrained of us, and we're just pushed down and pushed down and pushed down to the point where we don't feel valued anymore. We need to re-spark that passion in them. So Shannon says, I help veterans and homeless while working for a large company, so I have resources still, but now I plan to use resources to help the homelessness I see on the street. That's absolutely amazing, Shannon. It really is. And one thing you're sparking there, it's fantastic to read all these beautiful stories of how you're all making a difference and what you're doing and what you've done in the past and what you do now. It's absolutely fantastic. And one of the things we need to keep in mind when we help others, and I think this is what it comes back to what we talked about in one of the lives in the webinars, is how do we start to help people see that they have their answers within? And I think when I reflected on this, the question we need to be asking ourselves is, how do we start to, instead of giving people fish, and I know this is a proverb as well, instead of giving people fish, how do we help them build a fishing rod? Or how do we give them a fishing rod so they can collect their own fish? Because I'm with you, Shannon. Like if I see someone homeless on the street, I'll give them £1 or £2, or I'll buy them a coffee or something like that. But that's only going to be temporary. So how do we, how do we help these people? How do we give them tools and things that are going to help them grow themselves? Because £1 or £2 is not going to help them off the street. We need to think bigger. How do we make education? How do we help every child reach an education? And I think Vijay, I think the way the world's going, I think that's going to be easier done. Right now it needs someone to step up and really offer, online schooling now. One thing the pandemic's taught us is that children can be taught online. And Prashani, you can argue against me if you want. I would love to hear your opinion on this, but I think children can be taught online now. And with that technology and that power, it just takes a group of people to come together to offer free education across the globe. I mean, obviously you cannot cater for everybody, but how do you start that model and start to create that model so you can start to really educate people across the world and educate every child? We've got the technology to do that now, and we've learned that the children can learn from home. I don't know what the impact of children learn from home, and I know there's arguments for Pashani. I'm waiting for your comment, but I know there's arguments for that. The childs need that interaction and that socialness, but they can still get that from other places other than school. And I was honest, as a child, I wasn't that sociable in school. All my social came after school when I was playing out with the kids in the street. Well, at school, I was a bit of a nerd, and I was, until I got to high school. But in the general junior school and stuff, at a young age, I was a bit of a nerd, and I was stuck in my books. I didn't socialize much. So sorry, we're getting off on loads of different topics here away from vision, but it's just interesting topics and things. And I think we can start to, these are the sort of topics we can bring into our podcast. So if anybody who doesn't know yet, we're looking to launch our podcast this month, and it's going to be called Life, the Mind and Other Shit. So we're going to be covering a wide range of topics. We're just going to be open, raw, authentic, get together in a group of 3 or 4 of us and discuss one of these topics like this. Adele Jacobs says online education must become more affordable, currently very overpriced. Now, I agree with that. And it's how do we, or how does a group of people that are into, that education, or leaders in education, start to create something that offers that for everybody? Because the thing is, and I know you need that tutor and that student support, but at least you can give them some education by recorded courses. So all the modules that you teach in school, why can't they at least get access to that? It's better than nothing. All these curriculums that we have, whether the curriculums are right or wrong, we can put that into an online course, an online platform that anyone can access. And it doesn't take work. Once the online course is there for life, why can't we give that access to those people for free to get that education? And I understand it's not going to be as powerful as having that one-to-one tutoring that sometimes we need, or that access to a tutor to get guidance on the curriculum, but it's better than nothing. And I feel like someone needs to really step forward with a curriculum that is accessible for everybody. And that it's a sensible business model there as well, because even if you have that for everyone free, you'd create a tier program for what people can afford. If they want their online classes and seminars, then they can pay for that. But at least you're giving people that access to that free course that's pre-recorded and giving them content. And then you can just go back and upload that. You can change that. If Vijaya says at least basic maths and English, yeah. It doesn't take a lot to record a course with different topics on those. And Paul has made a good point. Tools need to be computers or phones to make this happen. That's another blocker. This is why we need to have, I think we should do this. I think we should have some of these in our podcasts and really get together and talk about these topics rather than just over message. I think it'd be good to get thoughts. Paul says not all people have phones to do homeschooling. I get that. I completely understand that. But then we just need to look at how we get over that hurdle. How do we create spaces for people to go to for free that has those computers, and they can just book it for an hour, So one of the things I was thinking when I was looking at, so I have done some extensive research on looking at how we can coach the homeless. And I've thought about, they don't have access to phones or to laptops, but we can raise money to put phones and laptops into homeless shelters that are locked away, and the people that run the homeless shelters have access and can rent and can give them for allocated amount of time. And then we can do that one-on-one session. Adele Jacobs says CM hubs. I was thinking the same thing. So again, one of our missions, I'll share this, I'm going to share this out with you guys. It's been a bit private for the past year, but one of our visions behind Coaching Minds is to create Coaching Minds hubs that offer facilities like this. So we can have people come in for free, rent a computer for an hour or 2 hours and get access to that course. And then how do we look to put that in the countries that need it? So we've got lots of visions, we've got lots of ideas, we've got the energy, but we all need to come together and look at how we can deliver this. We're starting, we've been active for not even a year yet, very low, we've achieved a lot, but how do we bring people? Because we need to attract more people we have, the more we can make these things a success. And I really believe we can make a difference with this. I really believe this can happen. We just need to attract the people that are going to help us to deliver this. So yeah. Okay, so I've gone a little bit passionate about all the different problems in the world, but think about the problems that really drive you. So Vijaya education is one for you that really drives you. Put that into your mission statement somehow to make that a mission statement. Shannon says, I love that name. Yep. So hopefully it's going to happen. We've got a bit of a business plan. We've got a model for it. We've got loads of things in the pipeline. It's just having the people behind us to help us, and also when to launch it at the right time to help us grow. But no, definitely it's something we're really passionate about and what we really see in the future. I think 2022 onwards, definitely. Let the pandemic and let people get back into being comfortable of going out into society and with everything that's going on. And yeah, hopefully when the pandemic starts to ease and settle down, there's a new horizon there for Coaching Minds hubs and a way of really making a difference and learning and connecting what we do online. So think of it this way, what the idea came from is how do we do what we do online in person across the globe? That's what we want. Sorry, Frank's that's me, CM hubs. Paula and CM hubs. PJ and CM hubs. But Paul Adams says, but all these extra talk drive me to put my mission statement together. I'm hoping it does. This is what we need to, it's these things that help you really put a mission, a vision, a why, and remind you that you're not doing this for you, you're doing it for others. And this is why the people that make a real difference in the world need to have that drive to serve. And this is why we're looking for people to drive to serve. Because if we start attracting people, and we have attracted people that are in it for fame or that are in it for money, they're going to be blockers and stop us from getting what we want to achieve, stop us from really making a difference in these areas of the world that need our help right now. Shannon says, our leaders need to see the bigger picture for kids. They give computers, but they don't always have internet access. Yeah, that's true as well. And that's one of the things that it's, another thing the pandemic's really shown is that Wi-Fi has become a utility. It's like gas, electricity, water now. Everyone needs Wi-Fi just to get access to connection, to learning, to growth. But that's a whole new kettle of fish. It's not going to be easy. We're talking about changing the world here. It's going to have huge problems, and we're not going to solve it in an hour session on visions and goal setting. But I just want you to start to think about these big things, because we're going to be the change makers of today. Right now, we've got the great energy. That's fantastic. Look at the impact we make to other people's lives. Just a small group of us. Imagine if this energy was huge and what we can really do across the globe. We had Jay join us the other day and on Christmas Day, and he wouldn't go on camera or anything like that. He kept in the background. Within the space of 2 hours, he was out there telling us stories, sharing, and felt really, really positive and engaged. And we give him that energy. So how do we do that at a wider scale? And it comes from us. And we're going to get together for all you that are, the moderators of our team, that everyone's part of us. We're going to get together and start to look at how we do this in January. Start to look at our visions and what roles we can play to really make an impact to the globe. Okay, so I haven't touched goal setting at all, but we will look at goal setting when it comes to the live session with Priya and Daniel, if they're okay with that, and look at tips on how we can goal set and some things about SMART and other stuff as well, bringing some new tools. So yeah, Vijaya says, let us get the hummingbirds out first, one step at a time. No, definitely. We need to build that hummingbird or flock. I can't remember the name of what you call like a group of hummingbirds, but let's get that group together that have the skills they need to go out there and coach others, and then start to get these partnerships in place and how we can collaborate with other organizations to really bring coaching. Because what you see is coaching is becoming even more popular and more popular. And I'm not just talking about the people that are calling themselves coaches and putting themselves out to make a name for themselves, but companies, banks, organizations are starting to see the importance and the impact of coaching. And they're going to need coaches that are effectively trained and know what they're doing to make a difference. And we can provide that and make a real difference. So I'm going to leave it there. Just a quick recap: draft your vision statement, start with a visualization meditation. I keep calling it meditation. It's not meditation, it's an exercise. If you're meditating, you're in the present moment. So start with that visualization exercise. Take 40 minutes. I'd recommend 40. If you can't do it for 40, then 5, 10, 15, whatever you can. Start to really think about what it is you want your life to look like when you're making that impact, when you're making that service, when you're keeping your fit, your lifestyle. What does it look like? Really take time to get a cup of tea, get a cup of coffee, whatever it is. I like to do this with green tea and really reflect in a quiet space in the dark with some candles. Make it like a meditation exercise and start there. And then from there, start to look at how you put that into a vision statement with your why. Dive deep into your why. There's a book, Find Your Why, which is fantastic. I might actually do some exercises on this too at some point. Maybe put it into a course on how you can find your why. But it's Simon Sinek's, so I'd have to do some kind of labeling behind it. But it's a book, and how I bring that into a course is fantastic. We'll look at how we do that. Bringing your vision needs to be bigger than yourself, so bringing your mission impossible. Remember to make it big and your impact to the world, and then look at how you can start to build an accountability tool to help you really make progress and start to draft an action plan. So I want to send you all lots of love. It's the 3rd of January. It's the start of a brand new year, and it's for us to really come together and start to look at how we make a difference to as many people as we can. Lots of love. I hope you have an amazing week, and I'll connect with you all very, very soon. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you all so much, and I'll chat to you next week. Thank you.